Yo, what's up? It's me, Axis ZTV. Hope you're all doing wonderful. We're going to do a real quick check-in on the Game Awards Players' Voice votes. In case you don't know, the Game Awards are not fairly balanced when it comes to who you vote for the categories. It is 90% weighted in favor of judges, which means that the popular vote, the people's vote, is only about 10% weighted. The player's voice is 100% fan voted, and it's done in rounds, and you get to select multiple games that you think would be your game of the year. That's what we're doing here today, so let's just get into it real quick. Right off the bat, obviously, I'm probably going to avoid games that have been out for like a super long time, even if they're doing relatively well, just because you've had your time in the sun. Apex Legends has had their time in the sun. Alan Wake 2. I know this is some people's actual game of the year, and to those people, all the more love to them. It was not my thing. I tried. Once I got to the part with Alan Wake and you have the clicker and you're moving lights and changing scenes and everything, like once I got to that part, I was so over it, dude. Like, the worst part about Alan Wake 2 was Alan Wake. It was enjoyable to watch, though. I did enjoy watching other people play it, but the like weird survival horror, the slow rolling horror stuff isn't really my thing. So ultimately for me, it was kind of it kind of fell flat. I tried it out, wasn't my thing. Armored Core 6, this is a really good game, and I loathe From Software games. I am the biggest From Software hater. I have been sent death threats on Twitter and berated for weeks because I called From Software games mid. So when I say Armored Core was a fun ass game, I feel like it holds some weight. This is a great game. The story's a little weak. It gets better toward the end, but like the story isn't really the leader of the show here. It's more so the gameplay, like building your mech out, speeding around, zooming around, blowing shit up. That's what makes the game fun. It's a really fun game. I would actually put in a vote for this one. Obviously, Baldur's Gate, we don't even have to talk. Everything that could have been said about this game has been said. It is just 100% a great game. For me, this is probably, it's like a 99 out of 100. And the only reason I don't give this game 100 is because I think the pacing for Baldur's Gate is a little off. I feel like Larian normally does the pacing kind of in reverse, where the first act is usually like really girthy. There's a whole lot to unpack. There's a whole lot to get into. And then like as you progress through the acts and the storylines get a little bit more tense, they tighten that shit up so that by the end of the game, there's really only like a few threads that you're pulling at. Whereas with Baldur's Gate, it feels like once you get to Act 3, it's like the game just opens up and is way more girthy than like the first two acts. The first two acts, however, especially Act 1, like that is an 11 out of 10. And Act 2, I would even say, is a 10 out of 10. But yeah, Act 3, probably like a 9.9. But still, this is my game of the year. This has been like one of the best experiences I've had in video games this year. But that's only because Phantom Liberty, I don't think an expansion or DLC or whatever this is could win game of the year. If it could, it would actually be Phantom Liberty. Bro, like, now my Cyberpunk experience has been fine since launch. Like, yeah, there's some weird bugs. There were like some memey things that were happening, but I was able to get from beginning to the end of the game and everything was fine. Like I thoroughly enjoyed the initial release of Cyberpunk. 2.0 is insane. The Phantom Liberty DLC is, oh man, it reminded me why I love CD Projekt Red. They put so much just blood, sweat, tears, and passion like into their storytelling, and it just radiates. And the environments are beautiful, and the lighting, once all the ray tracing is kicking in, and you got that DLSS running, it just looks crazy. Like, also all the mechanics that they changed in the game and upgraded, like the Sandevistan, like just everything is just an all-around super improvement. Like, if Phantom Liberty was the game that it came out at release, CD Projekt Red would not have taken that hit to their reputation, and like we would be having an entire, if Cyberpunk 2077 came out this year and was in 2.0 condition, this would be game of the year, period, dot, full stop, and no one would be challenging that. No one. If you can't tell, I like CD Projekt Red and I like Larian. Counter-Strike 2, I've watched a lot of Counter-Strike 2 gameplay. It looks like CSGO. Not my thing. I'm not a big tactical shooter guy. Personally, I don't think this is like a game of the year. I thought it was a fine game, though. I thought Final Fantasy 16 was a fine game. The story gets a little wonky toward the end, but like what Final Fantasy game doesn't. For the most part, like the combat is really good. It's fast paced, it's fluid, it's fun. All of that. They took a risk on it and it paid off. It's great. The environments and stuff look really good. Obviously the music is going to be nuts, so on fire. Final Fantasy, I don't think they've ever missed on a soundtrack, at least like not the major installments in Final Fantasy Tactics, which is arguably the greatest game ever made in the history of video games. At least it is for me. But the one thing I felt held the game back, aside from sometimes some cringy characters, sometimes Clive could be a bit cringy, but one thing that I felt really held the game back is that it kind of had this like push and pull with still wanting to be an RPG, and it just isn't. And it shouldn't be. Like, they really could have just dropped the RPG act and developed like the character abilities and building out and progressing your character more without, oh, let me get the next sword. Oh, let me get the next bracer. Like, all I'm doing is making number go up so I maintain relevancy compared to the enemy. It was just really, like, all the RPG elements in the game are just really, really bad. It like, if you're gonna make Devil May Cry, just just do it. Just full send it. Destiny 2, again, this is another game. It's been around for a while. It's had its time in the sun. Diablo 4. Now, for me, and if I'm talking specifically only Diablo 4 story, it was pretty good. It wasn't great, like, but, you know, Lilith, like, yeah, I'm about that. But it was like it was a fun game. It was a fun game. It was dark. It was gritty. The gameplay mechanics were fine. Like, I'm not a big isometric ARPG fan. I just like Diablo's story. I didn't really engage much with much of the in-game or multiplayer. I didn't grind no 100 or any of that stuff. I just did the campaign, put it down, and I was done with it. I said I'll come back to it when they add more with the campaign. It was an okay game, but I will reserve my vote to see what else is out there. Fortnite. Surprisingly enough, I actually played my first game of Fortnite like a week ago, and it wasn't bad. I'd been watching some of the content, and I played some Zero Bills with a buddy, and it was fine. But again, this is another game that's definitely had its time in the sun. Genshin Impact, haven't touched anything like this. What is it? Honkai Star Rail. Haven't touched that. Um, but these look like cool games. Like if you're into the gacha stuff, if you're into like anime, collecting anime waifus and whatnot, this and Honkai Star Rail seem like perfectly good games. Big open world, very like they draw on that Breath of the Wild inspiration, and they look very functional. I can't speak, but again, I've never played them, so I can't really speak to them. I did, however, recently download Tower Fantasy, and I'm gonna check that out just to see if that's worth the time. But obviously, I would be putting a vote here or here, being that I haven't really got to experience those things in any meaningful capacity, whether it be playing them or like watching people play them. GTA Online is another, like, I can't just this game is so old at this point. It's like 10 years old at this point. I can't. A lot of people really dug this game, Hi-Fi Rush. I didn't play it. I'm not really into the rhythm action game genre. To be fair, I haven't really played it. I know there was like the what was it, like Metal Hell Singer, whatever, the one that was like Doom but was also a rhythm game. I've seen them. They look interesting. I've never actually given them a shot. Maybe I should. They might be really cool from what I've seen. This game looked way too busy for me. There was just way too many colors and stuff flashing and popping up on the screen. It was very disorienting, very distracting. I would not play this, but like that Metal Hellsinger game, I could see myself playing that. But this isn't my thing. Hogwarts Legacy, God, was that this year? Oh my God. Was that this year? Man, that feels like ages ago. This was such a good game. Like, I had a blast with this game. I would say my biggest complaint about Hogwarts Legacy was, number one, it was just mind-numbingly easy. Like, even from the beginning, like, you're on the hardest difficulty. Like, I just never felt in much danger. I think I may have died 3 times in the game as a whole. It just wasn't a very challenging game. But like the world that they've built and everything about the game, being, you know, Hogwarts student, all that, like all of the Harry Potter goodness of the game was definitely well realized, and I could see that being a game of the year. League, not gonna do it. Liza P, again, not a big fan of Soulsborns, Demon Soulses, Sekiros, any of that shit. But I think Neowism Round 8 did a really good job of this game. This is like I've watched a lot of people play. I played the demo. My power went out when I was fighting the first boss, and I was like putting in work. I was definitely winning. But then my power went out, and then I said I'd never play this game again. But this is actually a really cool game. In the context of it being a Souls-like, it is a really good game. The character progression is like super on point. It seems useful, at least from what I've seen watching other people play it. Like, one thing that I really hate about a lot of Souls-likes and some of the From Software games is that it feels like oftentimes a lot of the skills and stuff that you're picking up as you go along and you upgrade your character, they don't feel very useful. And so in most boss fights, you can never really use them because you can get like one swing off before the boss does his 16 hit combo that you have to like perfect dodge. I don't know, but this game felt different. This game had like a little bit of complexity and sophistication to it, and it also seemed like very practical and very functional. Additionally, the setting is just awesome. Like, this dark gothic fantasy based around Pinocchio was really, really cool, and I can definitely respect the art that was put in here, even if I did not play the game. Spider-Man, these Insomniac kills it on these games, just period. I have not played Spider-Man 2 personally. And I haven't really watched a lot of it because I don't want to spoil it. I'm kind of waiting for it to come to PC. But what I will say is, from what I've seen, it seems awesome. If it's got all the same ingredients as Spider-Man and Miles Morales, I'm sure it's gonna be awesome, and I'm sure it's definitely deserving of Game of the Year. No Man's Sky, I can't. This game being here seems like it's an attack on Starfield. I haven't even seen Starfield yet, have I? I wonder if these were like added in here with some level of, like, the order is representative of like how many people would have nominated. I don't know. I wonder if the order of these games has any significance, is what I'm saying. Because it is surprising that that No Man's Sky's up here and like Starfield is way down here. But yeah, I feel like this is on here specifically as an affront to Starfield. And don't get me wrong, No Man's Sky did so much work in like making their game the real game that it should have been, as opposed to lying about almost everything in the game. They did a really good job finishing it, but like it's been around, it's had its time in the sun, it's had its comeback story, it's doing great. The VR is like super fun, but I can't do it. Mortal Kombat 1. Okay, for me personally, I would never vote for a fighting game. Not my thing. However, I've watched a lot of Mortal Kombat 1. I got friends that love fighting games, and this game has looked like super fun. Maybe if I ever get back into fighting games, I'd probably start with Mortal Kombat. Or Street Fighter 6. That looks pretty cool too. Minecraft, again, game been around for a while, had its time in the sun. Hey, we did finally get Forsen taking out the juicer in Minecraft. That almost makes me want to vote for it, because I watched Forsen for 6 months trying to beat that record. Or something like it had to be at least 6 months. Like, oh my god, that guy would stream for like 6 hours a day trying to beat XQC's record, and I've watched him throw the goddess of seeds just horrifically. Oh, poor guy. But yeah, that's Minecraft. Jedi Survivor. This was also a really good game. It had a lot of technical problems. It was not, especially, dude, it was not my favorite thing when it came out in terms of like how it performed from a technical aspect. I was getting very, very irritated with it, because once you get into like those big open areas, bro, it was so bad. It might still be. It could still be. I don't know what Respawn was doing, but like even on like all those settings, you couldn't get over 40 frames or 45 frames. Like it felt like it was hard capped. So, but beyond that, you know, kind of a Souls light, Metroidvania light action adventure Star Wars game. I'm a Star Wars nerd. You put Star Wars on something and you make it halfway decent, I'm gonna enjoy it. It was just kind of an expansion on the first game, which I was pleasantly surprised by, honestly. I don't like the Souls like aspects of it. I really wish they would get rid of it, but beyond that, it's a fun game. It's a fun game. Resident Evil 4, I know a lot of people like this. I hate Resident Evil games. I've never liked them. I didn't like them on PlayStation 1. They had the wonkiest controls. And then I just recently tried Resident Evil Village. Still don't like it. I don't like the like super minimalist, like resource sparse horror, like kind of horror adventure games where whenever I shoot things it feels like it doesn't do anything. Whenever, like, I don't know, just so much about Resident Evil just turns me off. But hey, if this is your thing, I get it. Whatever. Octopath Traveler 2. I didn't even know that was that this year. I feel like this has been out a while. I mean, this could have been this year. Like, it's, it's a solid JRPG. Sea of Stars would probably be better served on this list, and I don't see it anywhere. But whatever. This is an okay game. I wouldn't vote for it for Game of the Year. Okay, I know this one. Spicy take here. Spicy take here. I'm gonna be short a vote. I liked Starfield. I thought it was a fine game. Okay. It was it. It's not even to the level of Fallout 4. It's definitely not Skyrim. It has so many glaring problems. But when I play a Bethesda game, my main focus is just, hey, can you tell me some good stories, right? Like, all of the gameplay and the mechanics, all of that is just like dressing or sprinkles on top of the ice cream that is like, can you tell me some good stories? And there are some pretty good stories. There were some fun. I really liked the Ryujin Industries quest line. The main story wasn't terrible. Like, it was good enough. You know what I mean? I don't know. I put in like 150, 170 hours or something like that into the game. And I was excited to play it every day. I thought it was fine. I wish they had scaled it back. I wish they would have scaled it back, like did maybe a few star systems, 2 or 3 star systems. If you wanted to do that, I would be perfectly fine with a singular star system and just, 5 to 10 really dense planets with like stuff to do on them and the ability to be able to actually space travel to them. And like, there was a lot of, I think they tried to grapple with a lot of new concepts, and a lot of it fell flat. I don't think they had the direction that they needed to make this kind of game. But I give them credit because they did try it. There's so few like big sci-fi games, especially like space operas. They're so hard to get people interested in, and like sci-fi, even the Sci-Fi Channel doesn't do that well. Like even they struggle retaining talented sci-fi content. And I like that they took the risk. I had a blast with the game. It was good enough. I hope they can improve on it, or if they choose to abandon Starfield and go another direction, I'm fine with that too. I will say the biggest mistake I made with Starfield, and I would not recommend anyone do this, is I started Starfield and then Phantom Liberty came out, and then I went to go play Phantom Liberty. And that was not a smart thing to do. Because once I played Phantom Liberty and went back to Starfield, like, Starfield looked really bad. So I would suggest not doing that. But anyway, I thought it was a fine game. I had a blast with it. Valorant, again, tactical shooters, is probably a really cool game for the type of people who are into this stuff. Warframe, I didn't like. Did they do something new? Isn't there supposed to be another one out already? is it Soul Frame or something? I don't know. I figured I don't know why this is on here. This game's like ancient. Tears of the Kingdom. I got Breath of the Wild. I played it for a couple hours. I don't know. I got stuck in the beginning and I was over it. Not really my thing. And plus, I hate Nintendo. I hate them so much. Like, the fact that they can just skate by on, like, mediocrity in terms of their hardware, in terms of, like, not putting out new stuff. I just, any of their first party titles just really leaves a bad taste in my mouth. So where would I go from here? This is like a good game if you like if you liked Breath of the Wild, you'd like Tears of the Kingdom. But somebody deserves a vote that didn't get one. You know what? I said I liked Diablo 4. Like, the story was fine. The story was pretty cool. I'll go with this one. That's me. That's my votes. What did you vote? If you did vote. If you didn't, I don't even know if oh yeah, this is the last day. Literally the last day for this. So there's only a few hours left. So make sure hopefully you did vote, and if you did, make sure you vote in the next round. If you didn't, make sure you vote in the next round. I think you can vote in the next round. If not, well, LOL. Sucks to suck. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. Later.